So I've been looking at these a lot of videos on YouTube about the story about the Clippers and Clive and Bundy, and I wanted to relay just a quick story. I've watched probably over 100 videos now, just in the course of about 4 hours, dealing with racism and going back and even watching clips from the 70s and 60s. And I wanted to relate to you just a quick story that I had in my life. I have not dealt with bigotry and racism until I actually became an adult. You will remember that I traveled overseas a lot, so overseas I didn't encounter hardly any racism ever or bigotry. I was at private boarding school, private boarding military school, when I was before high school, right before high school. And I had a white friend, and he was my best friend. And I mean best. We did everything. We lived in the same dorm. We did absolutely everything together, and we were the best, tightest, closest friends, right? The boarding school was in the upstate New York, in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of the forest, all by itself. On holidays, the school would technically close. Everybody would leave the school. So one of these holidays, I was to hang out with my best friend and his family. Well, of course, kids probably don't, they don't see race or anything like that. So I'm assuming he said, and now I don't have a black name or anything like that. I'm assuming he gave them my name and said I was his best friend and so forth and so on. Well, during the visitation period of where the parents come and pick up their kids, the mother and father came and saw me. Then they called him away, and I'm assuming they had a little powwow, a little meeting. So a few hours passed, and they came back and told me that I would not be staying the holidays with them. A kid that knew me and knew him, I guess, had overheard this powwow, this meeting. And they said that the grandfather was a super racist, and the grandfather had vehemently said that I would not be joining this family holiday with them. And so they told me I could not stay with them. And so I stayed at the school by myself for a few days, My parents were overseas. I didn't have anywhere to go. I cried for an entire week. I was so hurt. I was really hurt by that. I was extremely hurt by that. I didn't get over it. Me and him, he and I never spoke after that. We were no longer the best of friends. And I mean, we were close. I just could not believe it. I just could not believe it. I was extremely hurt by that. And I believe that was my first taste of racism or bigotry that I had ever had in my life. And I had already been overseas and met thousands and thousands of people in different countries. That sticks with me. Like I said, I never really encountered racism or bigotry until I became an adult male and lived in the United States. So that hurt me on a personal level because it was a personal attack directed directly at me because of my color. Now, I keep saying, we keep talking about racism, and I keep defining it for you. Racism, and this has happened to me, all of this has happened to me. Racism is going to apply for a job and they not hire you or refuse to hire you because you're black. Racism is going to find a house or an apartment and they refuse to lease an apartment or sell you a house because you're black. Racism is going to a store and being refused service and being asked to leave or search or being told all sorts of things in that store, not wanting your business. All of that has happened to me in the United States across several states. So when I say white people can't talk about the black experience, I literally mean white people cannot talk about the black experience. That sort of thing happens all the time, and white people don't experience this on any sort of level, no kind of level. And I don't mean people following you around the store, and I don't mean people not liking the way you dress, applying for a job or anything like that. I mean not wanting to do anything to have anything to do with you because of your skin color. Now, there's some people out there might say, oh, you're just being paranoid. I am super intelligent. I am a master salesman. I can read a person immediately, within seconds. I know what's going on. Don't insult my intelligence by saying that I'm paranoid about something. I lived overseas and lived in countries where I was the only black face for at least 50 square miles and suffered no racism. So no, I am not paranoid. I've lived my entire life. I'm a grown man. I know exactly what bigotry and racism is when I see it. I can look the devil in the eye and say he's the devil. Now, the way I talk, the way I act, do you think that a non-racist white person would treat me any different than any other white person? Probably not, right? Because I don't have, what did Harry Reid say? I don't have a Negro dialect. So if somebody really wants to discriminate because of my color, that's exactly what they're doing. There's nothing else. I have a golden resume. I have years of experiences and anything that I would be applying for, right? So obviously it's not we don't like something or they're hiring somebody else. It's racism. Trust me. Anyway, I just wanted to convey that little story to you and just have just a tiny little peek into the crack of what racism and bigotry is on a personal level. Thank you for watching.